So in here we have not the optimal structure for Hydra, and I want to separate all the engines from each other to place them into separate projects. Let's see what projects we have on the moment. It's a library for all the engines and several demo apps.
Yep.
They all have own folders, and I want to do something like this: Hydra free, Hydra church free, and Hydra final tagless.
Mm-hmm.
And this means I will need to rework this project completely, and
Okay.
and those projects should be updated. Let's start from separating Hydra free and Hydra church free. For now we will just duplicate the folder Hydra church free, and I need to adjust the details of the package and name of the package for engine church encoded for church encoded engine Hydra church free. All this should be updated too somehow. For now I'm not sure. And yeah, we have library, we have some tests and dependencies on Hydra church free. And I'll just rename this one Hydra free. But this is not the end, because well, actually I did it not really. I need a general root for my namespace. The namespace should be always there, because without namespace I cannot. Okay, I have it in the SRC. Okay, no problem. Let's update this one. Hydra free name, Hydra free, and I need to update the rest as well. Now I need to clean up all the things and refactor the things here. We start from Hydra free. I'll just delete all the things related to church. Core. It's a lot of work.
Well, okay. So, is it copied in another location? Are you just throwing away the? Okay.
It's copied here.
Into the correct folder.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm looking for files church I and church L and deleting them.
Sure. Okay. Will you be putting the examples like Astro and Labyrinth into each one and have like a different version of each one, or are you going to have like Labyrinth be church, for example, and then Astro be church free, for example?
I'm going to not rework the projects themselves that much, and The only thing I will have to fix is package imports, like dependencies from not the Hydra itself,
Yeah.
but
So
yeah.
yeah, I have to rewatch it because like if it doesn't have an impact on the project, then what does it do to call on a different engine? I guess I need to read more about monoids to understand what's happening.
Monoids. I'm not sure about monoids, but maybe monads.
Monad side, yeah.
Uh, well, the some of those projects are based simultaneously on different engines and have separate uh, separate files. For example, for example, a catalog. I don't remember actually, but there is a project. Maybe the perfab. Yeah, it
So it's
imports.
okay to,
Mhm.
uh, so here it imports church,
Yeah,
but it's okay for it to import church and church free, for example.
yeah,
It
kind.
doesn't,
Yeah,
okay.
uh, these files will be updated, and I will import only those modules which uh, correspond to the engine I want. This should be the only change. Okay, so we are moving through the Hydra free and removing all which is related to church.
Mm.
And these things framework.
So I guess, did
Mhm.
you already copy it? Like, was I watching when you copied and pasted these into a different folder? Because I don't, or did you already have it?
I already copied it, and there are two copies. This one,
Okay,
and it contains, it still contains, has all
okay,
those church bits.
right. And you have to, I would have to delete the church bits from there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, I don't worry for losing some functionality because we have uh, source control. We
Okay.
can restore the code easily.
Right.
So I deleted all the things, and now I need to check tests maybe. I'm not sure actually. The tests are not complete, and I only use it just free engine, regular free. I'm not sure. I don't have anything related to church engine here.
Okay.
Yeah, because I import Hydra language, which is a regular free. Okay, next, I want to do the same here, but now I will delete all the related stuff to to normal free. And sometimes,
That's harder to tell.
yeah,
Interpreter and language. Okay.
yeah. Also, we can notice that we have a uh, common modules with common things. I will extract those things into a separate project. This project will share the structures between different engines. And in here it's a bit more complicated because this is what is this? It's a regular free, right? Yeah. Interpreter language. process interpret the language.
So this is just reorganizing the files so that people can see the folders clearly and really never have kind of crossing over. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Um, yeah, I still need to understand, you know, like I know that the church and church free and the other one, the just free, they're all different, but I don't actually understand the difference in usage. So is that like just a matter of time? Do you think that I'll need
Yeah,
to?
it's
Yeah,
definitely a matter of time because we didn't talk about what is a free monad, what is a church encoded free monad, and essentially you don't have to know about free monads and church encoded free monads uh, as they are implemented in what are they. That doesn't matter because there is we just use them. We don't need to know what are the internal mechanisms of those monads
sure. Um, yeah,
and how to use those monads. You can consult with the code.
with
We
the
hmm?
yeah. You mean with the code provided in Hydra, or you mean like a tutorial on monads
in, in Hydra. In Hydra.
in Hydra? Okay.
Okay, I lost my.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
I think I don't have a test framework for church encoded engine, so let's just delete it for now from the
Okay.
church encoded folder. Now what's now? We still have uh, F final tagless mixed with free engine. We will separate them later.
Mhm.
For now, I want to have a common library for a shared code. For example, Hydra, maybe not common, maybe base. Sounds more much better. And I need a package file here, Hydra base. All this should be fixed. It doesn't depend on something, and actually I don't think we will have test here. Source this test framework, no. Dependencies, no. No, none of those dependencies. These dependencies, yeah, probably. And actually, this one, no tests, no dependencies, no test framework yet. Okay, so new folder src. What we need to move there? The first thing is a prelude, Hydra prelude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
how come you haven't included the third one in this library? You have Hydra church free and Hydra free. Um, there's one more. I forget what it's called.
final tagless. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still here in free for now.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Uh, Domain Hydra. I think we need to separate domain from here to extract it. Yeah, it's it's kind of generic. And
Okay,
actually,
so I see how my work in the labyrinth will not impact any of this, so we can merge it without any issues later. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, Hydra core domain.
Hydra
And
base. Yeah.
yeah, it's the name of the project is Hydra base, and maybe it's better to rename core to base, or even to not have this intermediate namespace. Maybe we will do this later because it means we need uh, to fix all those stuff to rename
Yeah.
imports. For now, let it be in the same namespace as it was in later recently. So lenses runtime. Yeah, I guess runtime should be separate. It imports some language actually. Not sure why. Does it use it? It uses to log message church version of Flasher. We have some intersection here. There are complexities, difficulties that I have to solve because this one is not a good place for Flash STM logger. What I should do? Where this Flash STM logger is used? In the interpreter. And the interpreter. And in this interpreter. In this interpreter. I think this should be extracted. Let's see. So church version of Flasher. How we can understand how why is it a church version? I
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Uh, it uses HS logger interpreter. But this HS logger should be about a regular free monad, not church. I'm not sure. Okay. I misread this. Misread. We need to write our church version, and this one is not a church version. It's a regular free. So I can freely move it to where? To here maybe? What do we depend on? We depend on run logger, right? This is one function.
Yeah.
Log message from the language. State runtime. I am afraid we don't have state runtime here. What we use?
In Hydra, does the order, or sorry, not Hydra, in Haskell, does the order in which the functions are visible to the compiler matter?
The orders doesn't matter. You can put them in a position as usual. They can even be, I will say, mixed.
Okay.
And those functions can reference themselves. One reference this, that reference this, and
Wow,
so
so you can have two at once.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
So we depend on state runtime, but actually we don't use state runtime here. We want STM log only. So what is STM log? It's a part of runtime. Yes, T bar for log. And we can freely replace it here. STM log var. And this is how we remove the dependency which makes our code not suitable for this module. Now
because it makes it it allows it to pass through a different function and it doesn't call directly to the original. Is that why?
Yeah.
Okay.
Including this. And last thing, D module is a common module. Hydra core domain.
Mhm.
We need to import it. I think we are fine now, except maybe we forget about something. HS logger handle logger runtime. Yeah, logger runtime seems another variable that we don't really need here.
So where do you put these? Where do you put these variables when you replace it with something more simple? Oh, here. Is this it? New type?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we can freely remove logger runtime and just have a logger handle instead.
Yeah. So I think. Yeah, I think. Will you be So what kind of recording will you make?
Next time?
Yeah, the recording you meant to do today is exactly what you're explaining now.
Actually, I didn't have any specific plan, but yeah, I wanted to make reordering on camera, but maybe it's not a good
Yeah.
idea because it's not really interesting for my subscribers. I think it's better to provide more interesting content, more content about education instead of reworking. Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
after it's been reworked and organized, you can put it in a different branch and compare the old one with the new one, and that would be a good.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe. Impulse. Stop on HS
yeah, but
logger. Mhm.
I wish I could watch this again because this is some of this is very advanced stuff, you know.
Yeah, probably.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I wish that I had an option to record. Maybe I can screen capture with my software.
Well, actually, I'm doing a recording right now, just
Oh, yeah.
without all the uh, pictures, without only a screen.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's good for me. Not for your subscribers, but I
Yeah,
could watch it again. Yeah, okay.
sure,
That's good.
sure. Okay, so what's next? I'm not sure. Runtime. I just wanted to extract runtime itself, but runtime depends on HS log interpreter. Not more. Not it doesn't depend anymore. Okay. So I dot we don't have. It depends on just the HS lawyer module, which is fine because this module is about some internal library. Doesn't know
Right.
anything about the monadic engines. So and also it depends on QEDB runtime and depends on those things l dot something. Okay, we don't depend on the language now, which is correct now because uh, the runtime should be unaware about what languages there are, and it can use the main though. So what we let's see what we have in QEDB runtime. Depends on RocksDB, RedisDB, core domain. Okay, not known of unwanted dependencies. SQLDB runtime, same story. So yeah.
May I like once I receive the link to this video, may I use my like create a different branch from an old version to just practice everything that you are doing and do it myself?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so next we extract all those things into Hydra base. Hydra base core runtime SQLDB lenses for runtime QEDB runtime here, right? And a part of this logger impulse, this should be extracted as well, I think, because we depend on HS logger impulse. So let's create this logger impulse and we move it there. STM logger. What's about STM? No, STM should be here because it depends on the language directly. And we have STM logger and STM logger church. Okay, we need to remove church from here and STM logger from here. And yeah, a lot of stuff is not needed. Domain runtime, relents runtime, SQLDB runtime, domain, right? And actually class. Okay, what about classes? Those classes should be in the Hydra base project, I guess. Core control flow class. Let's check it. It should be, yeah, it doesn't depend on something special. And this one, yeah, same, doesn't depend on anything but other classes and domain, which is fine. So yeah, I need to extract classes from here. Actually, we have a lot of folders with those classes. So what I do, I first how can I should I create things so control flow and move class there, or maybe it's easier to make a copy and then just delete all the necessary stuff. Logger with classes too, right? Class process also contains class. Random contains class. SQLDB doesn't contain class. State. And the class module itself. This is only a core, but I think there is something similar here. Yeah, seems odd, but nothing useful here. We see some trees experiments. Well, it's a bad practice to keep such a commented code because I don't really need it. It doesn't work as I expect. So I'll just delete it.
Okay.
And this one. Hydra core class, Hydra framework class. Hydra core class, Hydra. Should I extract it? Yeah. But Hydra core class. A lot of changes, right? Now, actually there is one more runtime in the framework and one more lens. And I was thinking that I can merge up runtime and core runtime, because it seems I don't really need two separate structures, and I will be fine with only one structure. Maybe. However, this means a lot of work. So maybe we will just move this as is. Framework app and rlens with runtime. This should go here. Nothing in the app actually.
How can I tell when you're calling on the church free versus free? Where does it talk about it in the top areas of the importing? Not in this file in particular, but for other files.
I'm not sure I understood your question. Do you are you asking how can I ask to use either of the engines, a specific one?
Yeah, where do I look to see which one has been used?
The algorithm will be the following. Firstly, we import all of the interesting something commented out. All of the engines here. Hydra free, Hydra Church free,
right.
and also
so
yeah.
Does that mean each one I have to rename the capital Hydra to Hydra-church-free dot domain or whatever instead of just capital Hydra dot domain?
We actually can use something similar as you said. Not really. Well, in Haskell there is a package import syntax. We can use it. And
okay.
let me revise. Let me Google it. Haskell package syntax. Haskell package import. I'm not sure is it the right name. Yeah. So I can use the following syntax: import something from a package. So I will get the following: import qualified Hydra, maybe Churchill, maybe something else from Hydra Church free.
Oh.
I think this should be like this. And also we will change the naming scheme, so it will be language instead of Churchill, and we will use this kind of syntax.
Got it. Okay, I understand. But yeah, so every place where, yeah, okay.
Maybe it's not the correct one, I'm not sure actually. Import, I'll consult with the reference because I don't remember.
Okay.
Haskell package import, Haskell package imports, package qualified imports. Yeah. This is the link. So it says import not from, just import. I'm not sure qualified should be qualified here or before or after import. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll look at that too.
Yeah. Now class in the Hydra base. In here, what we have, all the things. The main should not be here. The main in where in Hydra top module runtime, right? Oh, that's unfortunate because this runtime depends on a lot of things. Hydra runtime. Yeah, this should be addressed. We depend on church, on regular free, church, and regular free. Okay, I'm not sure. Do we need this kind of stuff actually? Maybe not. So I move it here. Okay, I think we are good.
That's good. That would have been a lot of stuff, but you're just circumventing it with a different command.
Yeah, except
Okay.
one thing, we need to clean up this folder because it contains classes, contains all other stuff. What is simple? Process simple. Process simple is just this is another thing which is common to all the engines, so this should be moved to base class. Well, actually I should remove FTL from church free because we agreed to keep it in regular.
Okay.
Control flow.
So,
yeah.
Like I'm planning to go through this so that I can learn how to see where things are being imported from within Haskell and with Haskell in general. But that isn't an exercise that you had initially planned for me to do. So I'm wondering, like, is that actually the objective for me to understand the way in which the engines are being split up, so that I can see the dependencies? Is that the main point?
Including this.
Okay.
And
so then good.
yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
there is a task to synchronize these two engines. Hydra free has way more features than Church free, and actually these two engines are very similar in terms of the internals. Still, they are not clearly separated, and it's not really easy to even copy paste from one engine to another. But yeah, this will be your task.
And if I were to rewatch your videos, would I have a better understanding of like what benefits there are to using church free versus free, for example?
I think I mentioned this difference a little bit. Uh, uh, I didn't do any accent on the differences between church and free. The differences are in the performance. This is the first major
Okay.
point. And in the laziness, in terms that church engine can sometimes stuck with lazy evaluations by some unexpected reason, and this should be fixed. And I've met several such situations, but in general they do the same, just with different the internal structure of the free monad itself. We don't see this internal structure here because we use some combinators to traverse over the church free and over the regular free, and how these free monads are built, we don't really know here. We
Okay.
don't see. Yeah.
This might be a really, really dumb question, but did you write church free and free, or is that something that is already provided through Haskell, or is that something that you wrote for Hydra?
This is a good question, and actually, I use some base Haskell library, and
Mhm.
it contains those two monads already. So they are written by, I believe they are written by Edward Kmet,
Okay.
a great Haskeller.
Okay.
If you wish, I ported free and church free monads to C++ for my experiments and for my functional C++ talks, and in those in those experiments I had to reconstruct the monads themselves, like get into the details on how they are built, and uh,
Okay.
investigate and learn the deep stuff. But I actually don't understand them quite.
Is
No.
that
Mhm.
uh, is that part of the screencast
Mm-mm.
that you sent me, or
No.
is that a separate?
C++ story is separate, and it's not in those screencasts.
Okay.
Mm.
Is it on your website?
Yeah, there are talks on my website regarding this C++ functional stuff, but they are in Russian actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe YouTube can translate it for me, but we'll see.
Maybe, maybe. I'm not sure if you're if those talks will be interesting to you, but maybe I don't know.
Uh, I just want to be able to understand how things are being used, so that eventually, because eventually I want to create a new demo that's more my project, and I want to understand what happens when I use church free versus free, and
Mhm.
what's good for what reason. So eventually, yeah. But I mean, right now, obviously, I still need to understand, how they're implemented first. So
Yeah, so
yeah.
yeah, that's a good idea. And to give you more background, I have several applications to compare those approaches, right? This, well, actually, all the applications are intended to compare the approaches, but these two specific because they measure performance. Also,
Humans.
yeah. Also, the C++ code has. I created software transactional memory in C++ on top of the uh, free monads and church encoded free monads and compared performance, and church encoded free monads were much better. There is the same project in Haskell. I created software transactional memory library in Haskell, um, again with free monads, and compared. There is an article in which I slightly touch the difference between free monads and church encoded free monads in terms of performance.
Okay.
Article, yeah, hierarchical free monads. The article is about other things, like we need to be focused on achieving business goals instead of just playing with Haskell. This is a mind framing of the article. Still, uh, there are some words on difference between church and free.
Okay. Mm.
I can.
In your book, do
Hmm?
you? I some of the topics I don't really understand,
Mm-hmm.
but do you go into? I know that like I forget which chapter, but you talked at one point about how um, it's more efficient. But I forget if you were referring to monads or just the structure of Hydra. Mm.
Uh, uh, I,
Maybe I should go
I,
back to look at it.
I'll try to answer your question. Still, I'm not sure. So the book also has several topics on the difference between free and church.
Yeah.
It mostly focuses on the design in general and uh, doesn't provide any info about deep stuff, and doesn't provide any comparison, how to say, any,
Say it again.
yeah. But there are topics on free and church and the difference between them. Not that many topics.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we are close to the end of our meeting, because it seems I took enough your time.
It's okay. I'm,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at your book chapter on
Mm-hmm.
chapter 5 on impure states, but I don't think this is the question I meant
Mm-hmm.
to ask about. So I think I need to just review stuff again to
Yeah,
understand the maths better. Yeah. So, but it's okay. Like you're fine to um, keep
sure,
discussing. Yeah.
sure. Uh, I just update. I yesterday I updated the book, and we have the two first chapters edited, like
Mhm.
grammar style.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
I have a PDF version that I downloaded a while back.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can download the next version from LinkPub, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I gave
Right.
you the discount link, as I
You
remember.
did.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, so I'll continue working on the restructuring later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So will
Mhm.
you email me a link to this video?
Yeah. I I'll I let me stop